Hello everyone and welcome to our November Cub Scout Roundtable. I'm Vinnie Close, Assistant Council Commissioner for Roundtable Program and Support for Great Trail Council, and we're happy that you've joined us tonight. We're coming to you live this month from the Medina County Sheriff's Office, and we'll be talking in a few minutes with Sheriff Terry Grice about resources available to packs and dens when it comes to visiting local law enforcement in our area. We have a lot to cover, so let's get started like we always do, with the Pledge of Allegiance, the Scout Oath, and the Scout Law. And leading us in that tonight, we have Cub Scouts from Pack 3520 in Hinckley.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty, to guide my country, to obey the Scout Law, to help with other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
All right, thank you guys, and thank you to Soaring Eagle District for making the arrangements for this month's Pledge, Oath, and Law video. Each month now we're going to have a different district who's going to be doing those presentations for us. So for this month, thank you, Soaring Eagle. All right, up next is our safety moment, and this month we have a presentation on the importance of the annual health and medical record, also known as the health form.
Whether it's Cub Scout Day Camp and Derby days, or Boy Scouting and venturing camping trips, and high adventure excursions, having fun is very important to everyone in Scouting, and so is their safety and well-being. Completing the annual health and medical record is the first step in making sure you have a great Scouting experience. The BSA Annual Health and Medical Record, often known as the medical form or the annual physical, is designed to help ensure that all participants in the Scouting program are healthy enough for the adventure of Scouting. It is not intended to limit participation, but to inform and protect. One thing parents and leaders normally want to know is why the BSA requires a release and a health history of all participants in Scouting events. There are actually three key reasons. First, completing a health history promotes health awareness and provides critical information needed to treat someone in the event of an illness or injury. It also provides consent for treatment in the event a participant needs emergency care while traveling away from a parent or guardian. Second, poor health and lack of awareness of risk led to disabling injuries, illnesses, and even fatalities. And third, the annual health and medical record also serves as the tool that enables councils to operate day and resident camps and adhere to BSA and state requirements. Parts A and B should be completed for all participants and Scouting leaders. Part C should be completed by a licensed healthcare provider before the participant attends any Scouting event that is longer than 72 hours, such as a summer camp, trek, or multi-day excursion. The optional High Adventure Risk Advisory, formerly known as Part D, needs to be shared with the examining medical provider during the pre-participation examination to explain known health risks for each of BSA's 4 high adventure bases. Additionally, your council may develop a risk advisory specific to your council camp or other properties or events. To assure privacy, the form should be maintained by a designated leader, carefully stored and used only as needed to provide for planning and rendering care. Medical forms should not be scanned, stored, or sent electronically except as specifically directed for a BSA national event such as the National Jamboree. To keep up with possible changes in health status, the form needs to be updated annually or when a participant's health information changes. Find more tips and resources on AHMRs and other safety moments on the Scouting Safely website at scouting.org.
Okay, so remember that for everything that your pack does, you need to make sure that you have a copy of the health form on hand for every participant in that event. All right, next we want to welcome those of you that have joined us online. We're happy that you've joined us. To help us track attendance, share with us your pack number and city in the live chat, and maybe we'll even give you a shout out a little later on tonight. All right, next up, I want to welcome the Medina County Sheriff, Terry Grice, who is with us tonight in person.
Hey, good to see you.
Thank you, Sheriff, for your hospitality and hosting us tonight. We're glad that we could be here, and we're glad that you've got this great room to let us
we're always happy to
do
have
this
our guests in
broadcast.
here.
All right, thank you. So,
Great.
in addition to everything that you do for scouting, you have an Explorer post here.
That's very true.
Can you talk a little bit about what that is and what are some of the things that they do for you?
Yeah,
here?
sure. Our Explorer post has been around, probably at least a decade, if not more. I took I don't know what he's doing.
Speak up, I think he's saying.
Okay. I had to speak up in case you can't hear me. Our Explorer post has about 15 juveniles. It goes from 14 to 21 years of age, and they do a tremendous job. But it's a great opportunity for them to learn about law enforcement, to get them interested in some of the facets of law enforcement. They do practice crime scenes, traffic control, use of force. They do a lot of hands-on activities. They get to go on ride-alongs with some of our deputies, tours of the facility. They're just a wonderful component, and they're a great help in the community.
Sure.
I mean, they're out there, and they're always looking professional in their uniforms, and it's just a wonderful opportunity for them to, I guess, get engaged with local law enforcement officers and create that relationship at a younger age.
Yeah, and one of the great things we know that you have here is you guys have an ice cream truck. How
Yeah.
cool is that?
Yeah.
You were at, for those of you
That's
that
a
may
fan
have,
favorite.
it is, you were at the Dutch Oven Cook-Off a few weeks ago on Medina Square. You brought the ice cream truck out. You handed out some free ice cream to everybody. It was a hit, as would be expected. Is it just a learning experience then that these explorers are learning with you? They don't have any actual duties. It's not like they're going to go out and arrest somebody or write up a speeding ticket. They're just
No.
there for the
They're there for
the learning experience.
opportunity, and as I said before, 14 to 20 is the age, and then at 20, if they're still interested in law enforcement, that's the age that they can go to the police academy. So we're training them up to that age of the academy, and we've hired some of the explorers to be our corrections officers, which you can do at 18.
Which that was my next question is, have you had anybody come through the program that have gone on
Yes.
as a career in law enforcement? And obviously the answer you're saying is yes. So
it's been
that's
fantastic,
wonderful. Yeah.
Because it's great to see these youngsters mature to that age and then come into the organization as a full-time job, whether
Awesome.
it be a corrections officer, a dispatcher, or a deputy.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's
Yeah,
wonderful.
and they're actually meeting here
Tonight.
right now. They're actually meeting here. We have one of your explorers here with you. We're going to bring him on for a
Yeah.
minute. Nick Jacobs, come on, Nick. He's going to talk to us for a minute. So you're an explorer in the program. Come on, right up here. Tell us about what are some. So obviously it's not a Scouts BSA troop. It's not a Cub pack. You don't go camping and hiking and cooking and fishing and all of those things. So what are some things that you do as part of the post?
So we will meet about once every week. No, correction. We're just going to do twice a month. We'll meet on Thursdays at the sheriff's office or other departments around Medina County. We'll usually go from traffic stops to report writing to domestic violence, anything that law enforcement will see in their daily job duties. We will learn how to do and handle those programs.
Okay. So you're actually meeting right now.
Yep.
What are you covering tonight?
We are doing report writing.
Okay. So this would be the same stuff that a deputy would be doing after what? Like after a speeding ticket or a traffic incident or something, they will have to write up a report for it.
Yeah.
So you're learning how to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you talked about you go on ride-alongs, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any? Obviously, you're not arresting anybody. You're not actually writing the tickets. What is it? Strictly just observation then, or helping out if the deputy needs help with anything? Do you do that? Like, is he going to say, "Can you get something out of my trunk or out of the back seat?" Or
Maybe. Depends on the deputy, and it depends on where you are at, what call you're on, what's happening with that scene. So you can, most of the time, you'll be sitting in a cruiser.
Okay. Now, even though this is exploring, you are also still active in Scouts BSA. You came up through the program. You started as a Cub Scout, I think you told me earlier. You're in a troop now. Do you want to give out the shout out to your troop?
511.
Troop 511 in Medina,
Granger.
yes? In Granger,
Yep.
thank you. I knew somewhere in Medina County. And you're a Life Scout?
Life Scout.
Life Scout. You're getting close to earning Eagle there, from my understanding, so wrapping that up pretty soon. What do you think what do you think you might want to do post exploring?
Probably go into law enforcement.
Okay. Anything in particular that you want to do, or you want to be a deputy, corrections officer, or
Deputy.
maybe sheriff someday?
Be a deputy.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you away from your meeting for too long. Thank you for coming in. We do appreciate it. I'm going to bring Sheriff Grice back here, talk a little bit about some resources. So our audience tonight are primarily Cub Scout leaders, den leaders, Cub masters. Talk a little bit about what are some of the resources available that you at the Sheriff's Office can provide. So if a Cub pack or a den, say, wanted to come and visit, what does that look like? What are some of the things that they could do if they came to visit you?
Sure. And again, this is specifically from Medina County, but I think most of your local sheriff's offices would be very similar.
Right.
Obviously, we would welcome meetings at the sheriff's office to just do presentations, to have that one-on-one interaction with the troops, have some good dialogue there. But for here, we would also, allow tours. Obviously, the other thing is we would need adults to go through the jail with,
Of course,
with the youngsters. Bring up the cruisers, let them get in there, check out the vehicles, whether it be just a basic police car or a SWAT vehicle. We can also come out to maybe wherever you're meeting, whether it's at a school or different locations, and have that interaction with the deputy off-site, which I think is imperative, right? Building relationships at this young age is, I've already said it, is just so critical.
And you have canines in your employment, so
Yes.
they're able to come out and
happy to do the canine demonstrations.
do demonstrations. Have them chase somebody down wearing the big pillow on the arm.
Yeah, probably another deputy. But
not a little tiger cub or something. We don't want them doing that.
That's right.
But so that's great that they have that. And if they want to get a hold of the office in order to do that, what's the best way to do that?
Again, Medina County Sheriff's Office is 330-725-0028. That's the non-emergency Monday through Friday number. And we can ask for Rebecca Byrne, and she will schedule all of that up.
Yep, we talked to Rebecca a little earlier today, so she's
Wonderful
helped
person.
us accommodating us here in your conference room here. It's been a pleasure to work with you on this. We're happy to come out.
And the Explorers really do a great job. It's just, they're fantastic young individuals. Really, they're young teenagers.
Yeah, they are.
You see them at a young teenager, and then they're young adults.
Yeah,
At the end.
and that's
it's
important.
special.
So for any Cub Scouts that may be listening, or parents of Cub Scouts, when they get to be older, maybe they think that they're getting a little burned out with the Scouts BSA program, but you'd really like to keep them involved. Exploring is a great opportunity for them to continue with the program, even beyond the age of 18, and maybe pursue a career that they can take the rest of their lives with.
And learn a different skill.
Exactly.
Right? And learn
Yes.
a different group of friends, too.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful.
So obviously Nick that was in here just a minute ago, he came through the program. You've had others that have come up through Cub packs and Scout troops as well. But you've also had people that were never involved in scouting prior to joining the post. Is that?
That's absolutely
That's absolutely
correct.
right?
Yeah, some of the 15, this is their only interaction with Scouts. This exploring, which is good, which
Yeah,
is fine.
yeah.
That's okay. So.
Yeah.
And again, I think I said this, but our post has 15. And I think that's one of the higher numbers for exploring in the area.
It is.
And that's something we're proud of. That's a tribute to our staff that really dedicates and donates a lot of that time for these students.
Yeah. We were talking earlier with our exploring chair, and yes, this is one of the larger, if not the largest, exploring post in Great Trail Council, which is spans 6 counties. So
That's good to know, though.
that's
Right,
that's a great. You guys do a great program here, and we're happy that you're supportive of scouting and.
And I will put this little plug in there. Sergeant Frazier, I believe it was 2 years ago, was recognized for all of the work that she does with the Explorers. And I think that's, again, goes to show that the kids, there's meaning. Right?
There is.
There's meaningful interaction there. She recently retired a few months ago, and guess what? One of the Explorers came to her retirement.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
It really was. It was
All
neat.
right. That's good. Yeah, and we always talk about it in scouting. It's the program that attracts them and keeps them interested. And you guys obviously run a great program here. Had many years of success, and we wish you many more years to come.
I appreciate it.
Well, Sheriff, thank you for coming on. Sheriff Terry Grice from Medina County. We know that not all of you live in Medina County, so we've got a slide that we're going to put up on screen here that is going to list, there it is, it shows the local sheriff's resources in the other 5 counties in the Great Trail Council boundaries. So you can feel free to reach out to them to learn about resources that they can offer your den or pack. You can see there all 6 of them. We will point out a couple of the sheriffs may change due to Tuesday's elections in case they didn't get reelected or whatever, but that's what it currently is. Okay, up next is our membership moment, where the topic this month is community visibility. So, do people in your community know that scouting is happening in their area? Well, based on the results that some of our recent national surveys have, the answer quite likely can be no. Many of our scouting units are not visible in the communities that they serve. Many municipalities have done away with the parades and fairs that scouts used to frequent, and many scouts are hesitant to wear their uniforms in public. However, our good work continues in our communities with food drives, park cleanups, and other civic matters. One way to combat people's impressions that we are not here is to get some good press coverage. It's easy and it costs nothing. Each unit would benefit from having one adult who can perform this duty for the unit's activities. All it takes is a few well-composed pictures and a short story about what the unit is doing. The pictures can be taken easily with your phone camera. Photo releases are included as part of a Scout's annual health and medical record. That's the Part A portion of the annual health and medical record. To be safe, try to identify them as Scouts without necessarily showing their faces. The story should be short with an explanation of what they're doing and identify the unit by the number and the city. Once that's done, simply send it electronically to one or more digital newspapers serving your area. Unit, parent, and Scout social media posts are also great. What kind of activities can you submit? Well, the list is virtually endless. Examples include service projects, blue and gold banquets, Arrow of Light crossovers, flag retirement, campouts, food drives, holiday observances, and the Cub Olympics. All right, time now for a visit from a special visitor who was recently out at Camp Manatoc for a hike and seek challenge that's named after him. Now, I have been able to confirm that Bigfoot sightings are real. More so, I've been able to actually communicate with Bigfoot. Now, here's a fun fact. I earned the Sasquatch interpreter strip as a Scout. That's a fun fact for you there. So, he came with me here tonight because he has an important message for our Scouts. Hello, Bigfoot. Do you have a name? Your name is Harry Henderson. That's Harry with an I. Okay. H-A-I-R-Y. What do your friends call you? Dirty Harry. Why do they do that? Oh, you don't like to take a bath. Yeah. Well, your woodland creature friends call you a skunk ape. I can understand that. Yeah. But you like it out in the woods for peace and quiet, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, what message do you have for the Scouts? You really like the rolling hills and valleys of Cuyahoga and especially Manatoc. Uh-huh. And you would like to live out there enjoying the beauty of nature. Yeah. Right, well, that's right. Not all people take good care of our earth and water and all the life that it sustains. So, how can Scouts do better? Oh, they can learn about outdoor ethics and the 7 principles of leave no trace. Well, how do Scouts do that out of Camp Manatoc? Oh, yeah. They can hike the outdoor ethics trail at Manatoc. Is it a difficult trail? Oh, it's an easy 1.3 miles, you say. And it starts at the Red Oak Nature Center. And it makes a counterclockwise loop through the heart of Manatoc. And, there's 16 interpretive trail signs to read and discuss along the way. Now, I just happen to know that this trail was completed by Scouts in the summer of 2023 just in time for Manatoc's 100th anniversary. You're not that old, are you? Yeah. Now, according to Scouting America's Outdoor Ethics and Conservation Committee, this trail is the first of its kind in the nation. Well, way to go, Great Trail Council. Yeah. He knows how to have fist bump, too. That's cool. Well, let's hope that other camps can complete a trail like this. Harry, can Scouts receive anything for completing the trail? Yes, they can. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Oh, so by completing the trail and repeating the 7 principles of leave no trace, Scouts and leaders can receive this free backpack tag with you on it, and they can take it with them on their journeys. Now, there's backpack tags for all outdoors and activities and ages, and even some in Spanish.
Sí.
So, is there anything else that you would like to say?
Leave no trace. I've been doing it for years.
And off he goes. All right, well, there you have it, folks, straight from Sasquatch himself. The Leave No Trace Trail is a very cool trail to take at Camp Manatoc. It is the light blue trail on your camp maps, and you can pick these up either at the Red Oak Nature Center once you've completed your hike, or at the administration building. All right. Next up, we have one of 2 new segments that we'll be doing each month here during roundtables. And the first one up is our council program moment, where we will focus on an event or activity that you may or may not have heard about, or something that's so important it bears repeating. So, this month, we will be discussing the unit and membership renewal process, which got started earlier this week for all of our units. All right, so we've got the slides there. All right, so the time to renew is now. So we started the renewal process this week. You probably started getting some emails about both unit and member renewals. Next slide, please. Thank you. So a couple key items to remember. Unit and members renewal have now been split into 2. The unit renewal that we're going to discuss first is just renewing the unit, your Cub Pack, your Scouts BSA troop, whatever that happens to be, not the members. The members will be renewed on their own. Now, you can start with your renewal 2 months before the expiration. For all of our units, or nearly all of our units, the expiration is December 31st. So that means sometime this week, your Key 3 probably got one of those emails from National saying that you can start the process to renew. Now, there is a 3-month lapse period on the unit renewal. So if you don't get it in that 2-month window, you have up to 3 months to complete that. There are some consequences, though, for delaying that renewal, and we'll talk about that a little later on in some of the slides. Now, there is a pre-check that takes place, and we'll show that coming up in a second here, for any validation issues. The biggest validation issue that you might see coming up is not everybody having up-to-date youth protection training. You're also going to need to check that all of your leadership positions are filled. So specifically, you have to make sure that you have a Cub Master on your roster, that you have a unit committee chair, that you have a chartered org rep, that you have at least 2 committee members, and I believe 2 den leaders is another requirement. You have to make sure that you have people in all of those different slots on the renewal process. Now, you can pay by credit or debit card, or by ACH, also known as an electronic check, or you can pay by check at the council office. One thing to remember with these payments, if you pay by credit or debit card, every time you do that, there is a 3% transaction fee. Whatever the cost is, they're going to tack on 3%, which is the bank's transaction fee. If you pay by ACH, by electronic bank transfer, that is a $1 transaction fee every time that you do one of those. If you pay by check at the council office, there is no additional fee. Now, another important thing to remember with new adult leaders, if you're registering them, there is now a 3 to 5 day delay in accepting new adult leaders. The old way of doing it, where we would sign somebody up and we'd fill out the application and we'd turn it in on a Thursday and they could go camping with you the next day on Friday, that's not going to work anymore. The rule is that if you fill out an adult application, You cannot have any interaction with the unit or with youth until your background check is completed and you receive an email that says you're good to go. So, where to start? Well, in my.scouting.org, any member of a unit's Key 3 or Key 3 delegate can come into there and they will go to the organization manager. And this is where they can see the details on the unit. They can make sure that all of the required positions are filled, and they'll start the process of renewal, checking the roster, making sure that everybody is confirmed. Next slide, please. Once they do that, they'll come in here and they will then check on all of the unit details, and they will need to do a verification. So anytime that you go in here, a verification is going to take place, and if there's any red flags that are thrown up, they will show at this point that you'll need to correct before you can continue. If you have no issues, you can click the button to say continue to the next screen. If there are issues, you need to clear them up, then you need to wait overnight until that gets a chance to sync with the national databases. The changes that happen aren't immediate. They always occur overnight. What are some of those validation issues that you can have? Well, we talked about some of them already. The unit doesn't have the required number of people in all of the leadership positions that you need. Cub master, committee chair, committee members, den leaders, those sorts of things. If you have leaders that are not current on their youth protection training, that shouldn't be too big of a problem here in Great Trail because we drop everybody at the end of the month that they expire with their youth protection, but you never know. If there are any leaders that have not completed a criminal background check authorization, that will hold you up. If you have anybody that you've listed as a leader that is less than 18 years old, that's going to be a red flag and stop you there. Also, if you have youth on your roster that don't meet the age or grade requirement for the program. So if you've got a 13-year-old that you've got listed as a Wolf Scout, that's going to throw a flag because you can't be in Cub Scouts at age 13. Another one is if the adults on your roster don't have their social security number on file. It should have been entered at the time that you filled out your application, but just in case, it may not as well. So, the next screen that comes up after you've validated everything are your payment options. As we mentioned before, you have your choice of doing either pay by credit card, ACH, your e-check, your e-bank transfer, or pay by check at council. Totally up to you how to do it. Once you've selected that, you'll enter that information, then you can go to the next screen. And this is where there is one final step on your payment. You need to verify your bscout.org PIN. If you go back a couple of months ago on one of our previous roundtables, we talked about that process of updating your bscout.org PIN. This is the PIN that shows up on screen. If somebody is on bscout.org and they do a search for scout units in your area, you want to make sure that the information that's on here is accurate. We did a survey about a year ago here in Great Trail, and we found that more than half of the units had not updated their information in over 5 years. So verify that everything on there is correct. Make sure that all of your contact people are the correct contact people, that your addresses are correct, your websites, your social media links, your phone numbers. Make sure that's all correct. Make sure, too, if you've got listed on your description and you may mention when you meet, make sure that that is still your meeting night. Once you've done that and verified, then you'll go to the organization manager and you can submit payment. On this screen, you can see at the bottom there is a checkbox where you can say, once you've entered in your credit card information, you can then save that card number for future transactions, just like you do on Amazon or any other website where you're entering credit card information and you want to save that. You can do the same here. Next slide, please. And the same thing also for the ACH. You can save all of that bank information so it's there for future transactions, same as you would for any other sort of electronic transactions. The next thing that you've got to do is what's called the Annual Unit Charter Agreement. Now, if you are a traditionally chartered unit, meaning you are still chartered to a chartered organization like a church, the VFW, the Medina County Sheriff, whatever it happens to be, you are going to fill out this annual unit charter agreement. Now, there's an important thing to note on here. There's a bunch of signatures that are needed. You need the signature from the chartered organization. On that form, this trips up a lot of units. On the line where it says chartered organization, you need to get the signature of the head of the chartered organization. Do not write the name of the chartered organization on this line. They're going to kick it back to you and say, nope, we actually need a signature here. So you will need the signature of the chartered organization head, the committee chair, the chartered organization rep, and then the council will sign it at the end. You may also have, depending on the arrangements that you might have within your unit, you might be meeting at a different location than where your chartered organization is, in which case you would have a facility use agreement that would also have to be filled out and completed to go with the agreement with that organization, just to make sure that everything is on the up and up for that. Okay, next slide. Actually, can we go back to that one real quick? Thank you. So that's for if you are chartered to a traditional organization. If you are chartered to Great Trail Council, as a little more than half of our units currently are, there's other forms that are going to have to be filled out. So there's going to be an agreement with the unit and Great Trail Council. There is a facility use agreement that will have to be filled out with whatever location it is that you are meeting at. That organization has to fill out this agreement that's giving you permission to meet there. There is also an inventory form that you have to fill out with all of your inventory, as well as, what is the fourth document that I'm missing here? There's a fourth one. Financial form. Thank you. So you have to fill out your bank account information and send it to them as well. This is what happens, folks, when you don't have your script in front of you. Okay, so that's the paperwork that's needed there. We'll have a link to that at the end of this presentation so that you can see where to get those forms if you don't have them or don't know where to get them. So now let's talk about member renewal. Again, remember, member renewal is separate from unit renewal. All members, whether youth or adult, you're going to renew based on when you joined. Now, if you, whether you're a youth or adult, if you joined Scouting on or after August 1st, 2023, your renewal date is going to be the end of the month that you joined. So if you joined on September 12th, 2023, your renewal date is the end of September in perpetuity. For everybody else, meaning if you joined before August 1st, 2023, which is the overwhelming majority of our members, your renewal date is and always will be December 31st. Now, you can begin that renewal process 2 months before. You will start getting emails notifying you of this at 60, 30, 15, 7 days before, 1 day before, and 7 days after. So you're going to get a bunch of emails to remind you to do that. Now, there is also a 3-month lapse period, but there's some important things to note with this. For the youth, if you let your membership lapse, but you're still in that grace period, you can renew, and it will backdate you to that previous period. But there's a catch. If you're an adult and you let your membership lapse, even though you're in that grace period, you cannot participate with Scouts while your membership is lapsed, even if you're in that grace period. That's important to remember. Make sure that you have your emails listed in scouting.org for both, preferably the parents, but also youth if we have them. And there's also a way that you can choose to opt out. So if you're not going to renew with Scouting, there is a place in there where you can say that you're opting out. And that way we know that you won't be renewing your membership when it expires at whatever that date happens to be. So, the individual membership can be renewed a number of ways. The first way is self-pay or family pay, meaning the individual, if you're an adult, or the individual's family can pay. The unit can pay for all of the members of their unit, or there's a combination option, which is a new option, which is where The unit will pay for some of the members, and the individuals will pay for the remainder. So, talking about the self-pay or the family pay option. Again, they'll get those email notifications starting 60 days out, and you'll get reminders all the time with that. There is a renewal form on my.scouting.org where you'll go and you can click on My Application, and you can see that. Also, when you log on to my.scouting, I was on there earlier today, and it came up with my notification saying, hey, your membership is up for renew at the end of December. Click here now if you want to renew that. So I could have done it right then if I wanted to. If you're an adult and you wear multiple hats, as so many of us do, meaning you are multiple registered, you have to choose one position that is going to be your primary position, whether that is the scout troop, the cub pack, the council, the district, whatever it happens to be. One of them has to be declared as your primary, and that is the one who is going to process your renewal through. The others will just get renewed in time with that. And of course, you can do credit or debit card payment or ACH for that as well. If you're doing the unit pay option, remember the unit pay is the unit is going to pay for everyone. The unit key 3 are going to get notifications, same as the individuals, 60, 30, 15 days out and all of that. And the unit will then be responsible for collecting the money from their members, youth and adult, and they will make hopefully one payment, although they could do multiples depending on how it works out. The unit will then select the members as to which ones are going to be renewed, which ones aren't. You can also opt out, and you can also choose to change the subscription for Scouts Life magazine, whether you want to subscribe or unsubscribe to that. So, a new option that came as at a request from the units is the combination pay, which means that the unit and renew pays for some of the members, and then other members, parents or guardians or adults, renew and pay for themselves. One example that some units are doing is the unit is renewing all of the youth members, and they're leaving it on the adults in the unit to be on their own to do the payment. So that's one option that happens with that. So what are some of the consequences if we don't do this renewal? Well, obviously you go into a lapsed period. We talked before about what that happens with the youth. They can still renew and it will backdate that, but what can be affected by this, particularly in the Scouts BSA level, is it could affect things that require the time running. So being in a position of responsibility for so many months, the clock stops during that time period when you haven't renewed. Yeah, the date goes back, but those dates when you weren't in compliance, that won't count. And that could affect things. You know, if you're getting close to Eagle Scout, that could affect you there. Also, we mentioned before, if you're an adult and you let your membership lapse, even though you may be within that grace period, you cannot be with your unit until you renew your membership. Also, if you let your unit completely lapse after the 90 days, all that history is gone. You can restart up the unit, but you're basically starting over. You lose all of those years. So if you've been one of these units that have been around for 75 years and you let your unit lapse and the 90-day grace period goes away, you're now back to zero. That doesn't, you no longer show that in the records. You're like a brand new unit at that point. So those are some of the things with some of the consequences for that. For more information and to get some of those forms that we talked about, you can find all of this information that I just talked about tonight and more at the website you see on the screen there, gtcbsa.org/renew. Now, there's one more slide to show here, and this is turn-in dates for the unit renewals. Each district, as you can see on screen here, has set dates where you can start to turn in your unit renewal paperwork and monies if you want to, if you're not doing it electronically. Canal District, you can see they've got 2 events coming up, and then Crooked River, Soaring Eagle, and Stambaugh each have one. Now, for those that are early, like Crooked River and Soaring Eagle, they're starting next Thursday where they can start collecting the money. You don't have to turn it in then if you're not ready. You have until the middle of December before you actually have to get the money in because, of course, the council offices are going to be closed over the holidays and you won't be able to turn it in the closer you get to the end of December. So those are the dates, those are the times, and the locations. If you have everything in order and you'd like to turn in your paperwork and submit your money, you can do so. They'll collect it and they'll get it turned in to the council office. So that is going to take care of the council program moments. So time now for the second of our two new segments, and this is our district program moment, where we're going to highlight events that will be happening in your district. Now this month we're going to be looking at some new events that will be happening as part of the new adventure fee. In this case we're going to talk about District Pinewood Derbies and Cub Scout Freeze-Outs. So we've got a slide for that we're going to put up on here. So we want you to start saving the date because these events are going to be coming up pretty quickly. First, let's talk about the Cub Scout Freeze-Outs. If you've never been to one before, these are kind of like a mini Klondike Derby. The Klondike Derby is a winter camp out that our Scouts BSA troops do over the winter months where they go around and they pull sleds and it's a lot of fun and have activities. The Freeze-Out is kind of the Klondike Derby scaled down a little bit. It's still an outdoor activity and the Cub Scouts will come out typically for a half day. You can either do a morning or an afternoon session and you'll go around to different stations. Some of the stations will be fun. Maybe if there's snow on the ground, you might build a snowman, or it will be some scout skills. Maybe you'll do some winter first aid, learn about treating for hypothermia and frostbite, doing things like knot tying and lashing, some scout skills, but Cub Scout appropriate. So those freeze-out dates you see on screen there. Soaring Eagle is February 1st out at Camp Manatoc. Canal District will be February 1st at Camp Butler. Stambaugh will also be February 1st out at Camp Stambaugh. And Crooked River will be a week later on February 8th. And the location is still to be announced. They're still working on the dates for that. Next, though, is District Pinewood Derbies. So you may have done a District Pinewood Derby in the past. Some districts have never done one before, so this is new for all of you. The difference with these District Pinewood Derbies from the ones in the past are there's no need for a qualifier. Everybody in the district that is a Cub Scout is eligible to race in the District Pinewood Derby. You no longer have to come in first or second place at your Pack Pinewood Derby in order to participate in the District Pinewood Derby. So it's going to be huge crowds, lots of fun, lots of competition, probably be some food involved because we all know the 13th point of the Scout Law, a Scout is hungry. So we have the dates for that. Some of these we have locations, some we don't. But you can see Stambaugh is going to be March 15th. They're still working on the location for that. Canal District will be May 3rd at the location to be announced. Soaring Eagle, you're going to be on May 10th, and you are going to be at Summit Mall, which is pretty cool. And Crooked River, you will be a week later on May 17th at a location to still be announced. Now, for information on these activities and anything relating to the adventure fee, you can go to the website that you see on screen there below, gtcbsa.org, calendar of events adventure, and you can learn about as well as sign up for these and other adventure fee activities that will be taking place all throughout 2025. All right, time now for our first of two hot topics for tonight. And it's a video for November, brand new video from the National Council covering the Arrow of Light to Scouts BSA Transition. It's going to be coming up sooner than you know, so you want to make sure that you're preparing your Arrow of Light Scouts for that transition. Hopefully your Arrow of Lights have already been meeting with Scouts BSA troops, and they're making plans for what that transition is going to look like, as well as work on some of the adventures that are needed to complete the Arrow of Light. So, presenting this video is our old friend Anthony Berger, the National Director of Cub Scouting.
Did you know that most of the youth who were in Scouts BSA were once Cub Scouts? At last time I checked, it was like 75% of Scouts BSA members were once Cub Scouts. The purpose of the Arrow of Light Badge of Rank is to simply prepare youth to join a Scouts BSA troop. Welcome to Roundtable as we discuss how to successfully prepare Arrow of Light Scouts to join a Scouts BSA troop. Before we get started, I want to make sure that everyone understands that with the program updates of 2024, Webelos is now only for 4th graders. It is simply the Cub Scout program for 4th graders. Webelos is no longer preparing Cub Scouts to join Scouts BSA. The program updates of 2024 made the Arrow of Light Badge of Rank a standalone program that is for 5th graders. The purpose of the Arrow of Light is to prepare Cub Scouts to join Scouts BSA. This clear distinction now makes it simple to understand. It also makes it easier to deliver the program. It now makes the overall Cub Scout program easier to understand as each grade has a specific badge of rank. Now, the Arrow of Light Badge of Rank is designed to prepare Arrow of Light Scouts for Scouts BSA. So the first step to successfully preparing your Arrow of Light Scouts is to deliver the program as designed. So let's take a look at how the required adventures for Arrow of Light meet the purpose of preparing Cub Scouts for Scouts BSA. Each badge of rank in Cub Scouting has 6 required adventures that are based on the aims and areas of importance to Scouting America. The themes of the required adventures are character and leadership, the outdoors, personal fitness, citizenship, safety, family, and reverence. Now, the Bobcat adventure is designed to be the first required adventure. Now, it doesn't have to be, but once you see the requirements, it makes sense to make this the first required adventure for your den. Here are the requirements for the Arrow of Light Bobcat adventure. Now, the highlighted requirements are the requirements specifically designed to prepare Cub Scouts for Scouts BSA. Bobcat is designed to reinforce Scouting values, character, and the methods used to reinforce those values and to develop leadership. We make the shift from Cub Scouting to Scouts BSA by introducing the patrol method. Use of the Scouts BSA sign, salute, and handshake, thus beginning their journey to Scouts BSA. You will notice that the den forms an Arrow of Light patrol and elects a patrol leader. This is done to simply introduce the Scouts BSA patrol method. They are still a den, and the Arrow of Light patrol leader has the same position description as the denner position. This is an introduction. It is not intended, nor should you have your Arrow of Light den fully function as a Scouts BSA patrol using the youth leadership. Now, the Bobcat adventure also requires Arrow of Light Scouts to visit a Scouts BSA troop. This can be done as a den or as a family. In either situation, the parents or legal guardians of the Scouts should attend with them. We know that it's important for parents and legal guardians to get to know the adult leaders in the troop and for the troop to get to know them. The sooner these relationships can begin, the more likely an Arrow of Light Scout will successfully join a Scouts BSA troop. The next required adventure is the Outdoor Adventure. Now, this has a camping requirement, and this is intentional. Scouts BSA troops go camping. The camping trip can be done with their den as part of a pack overnighter. It can be as an Arrow of Light den, or it can be with a Scouts BSA troop. Arrow of Light dens may now attend district or council camporees overnight. So make sure to follow youth protection policies and the Guide to Safe Scouting. In each of these camping experiences, their purpose is to have the den start working as a team and practice the patrol method, becoming less dependent on adults. Now, at no time are you to put an Arrow of Light Scout in direct leadership or make them responsible for other youth. Active, qualified adult supervision is paramount to keeping everyone in Scouting safe. Now, next is the Personal Fitness Adventure. And this is where we introduce the concept of tracking progress over a period of time. And this concept is common among merit badges. Now is a good time to point out that we focused on keeping the names of the Arrow of Light adventures to be pretty straightforward, just like merit badges in Scouts BSA. We're removing what I refer to as the Cubified name for adventures. So next is citizenship. This adventure only has 2 requirements. but the focus is on having Arrow of Light Scouts become familiar with how to plan and participate in a service project using the SAFE or SAFE guide. It also requires them to track their service hours, a requirement for badges of rank and Scouts BSA. The first aid adventure was designed based on feedback from Scouts BSA leaders who wanted to make sure that new Scouts in the troop were more familiar with first aid. Additionally, the first aid adventure deals with personal safety awareness and the protect yourself rules designed for 5th graders. Now, that brings us to the Duty to God adventure. Duty to God is a cornerstone of the Scout oath, and being reverent is part of the Scout law. In Scouts BSA, youth take part in what is called a board of review to earn their badge of rank. Often in a board of review, Scouts are asked how they live by the Scout oath and law. In this adventure, we want to prepare youth on how to verbalize what duty to God means to them. Now, all 6 required adventures are designed to prepare Arrow of Light Scouts for Scouts BSA. Simply completing the required adventures will help Arrow of Light Scouts be prepared for Scouts BSA. And a key element to Arrow of Light Scouts joining Scouts BSA is coordination with a Scouts BSA troop early to create a seamless transition into the troop. Now on scouting.org, we have listed in detail things that can be done, who does them, and by when. This resource is great to help you work those items into your annual PAC programming. And you get to them simply by scanning this QR code. When a Cub Scout joins a Scouts BSA troop, we call it crossing over. It is recommended that this be done as a ceremony in collaboration with one or more Scouts BSA troops. Here are 4 things to keep in mind when preparing Cub Scouts to cross over into a Scouts BSA troop. First, youth should choose a troop that fits them. Youth in the same den are not required to join the same troop. Second, make sure that you are being flexible with the timing of your crossover ceremony. It does not have to be at Blue and Gold celebration or on a specific month. Thirdly, remember to transition parents and leaders too. Help them with understanding the Scouts BSA program. And lastly, learn the Scouts BSA troops summer camp plans and how it is financed. We know summer camp is a great way to keep youth in scouting. A tip from the experts. Great troops who have successful crossovers with PACs conduct a new parent orientation. Now, this 45-minute meeting covers the Scouts BSA program and hits subjects that create an open line of communication between the troop and these new parents. You can access this outline by following this QR code. We hope that this roundtable will increase the number of Arrow of Light Scouts that join a Scouts BSA troop and make it a smoother transition. Now it's your turn. Consider these discussion items with your fellow leaders. When do you get a local Scouts BSA troop involved in the planning process for transition? How is your relationship with a local Scouts BSA troop or troops that your Scouts could join? Did you learn something new in this roundtable? If so, what was it? And what did others learn? Was there something you learned in this roundtable that you plan to bring back to your PAC? All right, that's it for this roundtable. I look forward to seeing you at the next roundtable.
All right, thanks, Anthony. It's now time for our second hot topic tonight, and it's about the multi-council calendar search that is available for us to use. Now, if you've ever had the need to attend an event or take a training course, like say maybe Baloo training, and perhaps the dates and times for it in Great Trail Council just didn't line up for you, you can search the national calendar to find other offerings in your area. So to do this, you're going to go to the Great Trail Council website at gtcbsa.org. You're going to click on the calendar on the left side, like you see on that screen, on that slide right there. And then you're going to select at the bottom left corner, you'll see Search Nationwide Scouting Calendar. Here you can search to find events within a certain mile radius of you. So let's say you want to take Baloo, and you can maybe go to Lake Erie Council or Buckeye Council or Simon Kenton even to take it if it's offered there. Now, of course, we would certainly like for you to take your training here in Great Trail, but we know that isn't always possible. So this search gives you the ability to take a course in a neighboring council. And it's for more than just training. There are some other events that you may want to take, say University of Scouting, or if you're in a scout troop, a virtual merit badge midway. The curriculum for all of these training classes are the same no matter where you take the training, so this can be more convenient for you depending on your schedule. All right, up next, we wanted to let you know that even though it's fall, now is the time to start thinking about summer. We've got a slide here that we're going to show you that has the dates on it for next summer's Cub Scout Day Camp and Cub Overnight Camp offerings. So be sure to share these dates with your Cub Scout families so that they can save those dates on their calendars and begin making plans to attend. Now you'll notice here, overnight camp, it's a little bit different. This is what we used to call Webelos Resident Camp. Day camp is open to all Cub Scouts. And you can see there we've added a 6th session this year for day camp. So you have 6 different sessions to choose from. And again, they're open to all Cub Scouts. Overnight camp, which is what we used to call Webelos Resident Camp, that has now been opened to any Cub Scout who will be Wolf, Bear, Webelos, or Arrow of Light in the fall of 2025. There's 2 sessions available, both of them at Camp Manatoc. One catch with overnight camp is that you have to register and pay as a unit. You can't register and pay for that individually. So, it's our goal here to increase the number of Cub Scouts who attend one of our summer camp programs. In 2024, just this past summer, over 80% of our Cub Scouts in Great Trail Council did not attend day camp or resident camp. We need that to change. Compare that to our Scouts BSA members, where nearly 80% of them do attend summer camp. So we really want to change this up, and we really want to get a lot more Cub Scouts involved in our summer camp offerings, and this is a way to do that. Let's save those dates. Let's make sure everybody knows about it. They can attend any session they want. We know that sometimes packs like to go in groups, but you don't have to do that. If the date doesn't work out for you, if you've got a family vacation or something, and you can't make it on the week that your pack is going out, you can still go out on your own. There's lots of new friends that you'll meet at one of these camp sessions. All right, finally, we want to announce to you that we have a brand new council-wide event that we wanted to share with you, and you're going to be the first to hear about it. These are the Cub Scout Chariot Races. Now, this event just used to be for Canal District, but is now available for all packs council-wide. So, let's put up that slide. There it is. So, this event is going to be on Saturday, January 25th. It is at the Higher Community Learning Center on Wedgwood Drive in Akron. It's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is being run by Troops 1 and 7001 out of Akron. The cost to participate is $10 per pack. Not $10 per person, $10 per pack. And the way that this works, you can kind of see it in that picture there. Your pack is going to construct a chariot out of a cardboard box and race it. And we've actually got a video that we're going to show you here. So you can see it starts out, they actually do a parade around the gym floor to start out with. And then they do side-by-side racing. And you can see you've got 3 people involved. There's one person, there's the view from inside the cardboard box. 2 people are pulling that, and they're going to go around a little maze course that is set up on the floor of the gym, and you have a race, and you have lots of fun. Now, it's more than just decorating the box. Well, you'll see here in a second. They go and they decorate the box. There's some more examples of that. Here's an example of all of the cool stuff that they do, and they also dress up. So you can see there, they not only decorated it as a plane, but they also came in costume like they were in Top Gun, complete with the aviator sunglasses. So it's a really cool event. It's now open to the entire council. Talk to your pack about it and see about going and attending that, because it is a lot of fun. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank all of our speakers, including our walking carpet that we had in here earlier today, as well as the others who helped behind the scenes. A special thanks to the Medina County Sheriff's Office for hosting us in their facility this month. Our next Cub Roundtable will be back right here on YouTube on Thursday, December 5th. So to close out tonight, we have a Great Trail Council specific video that you can use in your recruiting events and on your unit's social media that shows families some of the quality time that they can have with their kids in our programs. As always, thank you for all that you do for Scouting. We'll see you on the trail. Good night, everyone.